In our holy books, we have loads of stories and narratives, and some are somewhat magical and seem unrealistic, and it's difficult for us to relate to. What I was wondering, do Hindus claim that these stories are true, or is it just a way for us to understand the ideals of God and help a layperson to understand what God really means?
It is so good that the question has come from you, and it's not something that I am pushing on to you. I have been branded as a villain of Hinduism, because sometimes I say this aspect of Hinduism or this narrative of Hinduism is mythology, legendary story. When I make this claim or say this, a lot of Hindus who are brought up in traditional families say, Mr. Dilip Bhai, this is terrible, you are calling our religion mythological, means just airy-fairy. I say, look, I am simply asking your youth to be discerning, to distinguish between what is a literal story or literal truth and what may be purely an allegoric story, allegoric truth. Make the distinction. If you are not able to look, I am not going to tell you this is historic and this is allegoric. You decide. Why should I give you? Because you got this thing working, hopefully, that's why you are at university. When you look at any part of the story, suppose there is a story, say the story of Ramayana, Hindus claim is a historic story. There may be bits in the Ramayana which you feel are definitely exaggerations, and you feel that because it doesn't make sense otherwise. If you think like that, does it mean you are a horrible monster and the Hindus should come and burn you, or wow, no. You are just exercising your own judgment in coming to terms with your religion. And there are aspects in the narrative which may have a historic basis to it, but there are aspects to the narrative which definitely makes you feel this cannot be literal truth. Who is going to decide? I am not going to come and hold your hand. Look, you are at university, why should I hold your hand? You decide for yourself. So my response would be this. Whenever you come across any narrative, and look, the Puran means literally legendary stories. Puran means legendary stories, literal etymology. And when you got itihas, like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, we call them itihas, history. But again, with the itihas also be very careful, very discerning. You decide. Why should I decide for you? Which part you are prepared to go along with, which part you think is an exaggeration. Because these stories have been told over thousands of years. For the first few thousand years, they were not written up at all. They were just orally passed on from one generation to another generation for thousands of years. And do you think they were just left unchanged? Because every time the Purani stands, he looks at the audience and says, I think I better don't mention this, and I better mention this more, because these people need to know that. So he will try always add a little bit and take a little bit away. We all do it. When we are talking about something that happened last week, we always kind of exaggerate a little bit or undervalue something, and all of us are tempted to do it. And I am suggesting that over thousands of years, a lot of things have been added, a lot of things have been taken. And I am not making it up. Look, you got the Valmiki Ramayana, okay? Then you got the Ramcharitmanas, Tulsidas Ramayana. There is a big difference. A lot of different things are different. And there are 100 versions of Ramayana throughout India, different in some aspect. The Ramayana in South India is quite different in many sense. In one Ramayana, they told me Ram and Sita were brother and sister. You see, variations. So the moment you know that, look, as the story has been going on, and even though we call it itihas, a lot of things have been crept in which you need to be careful about. So my advice to all the thinking Hindu youth, if you are not able to think for yourself and you have been brainwashed, bad luck. It's too late for me to do anything about it. But if you have the opening, this ability to make sense of religion for yourself, you decide, not me. I'm not going to come and hold your hand. You decide, when you read a story, which part do you think is real, which is added on. Watch out. Unless you do that, you are open to all sorts of nonsense that are going to come and hit you. And you're going to come face to face with the rationality, common sense, which is going to thump you. And forget about you yourself getting worried about your religion. Other people will come and make mischief. So are you foolish? Are you idiot? Come on, how this can't have happened? And how are you going to justify yourself? The only common ground you have when you're dealing with people of other religion and no religion, don't forget 30 or 40% of the population is people of no religion now. You need to interact with them, and suppose you give these super stories. They say, look, come on, grow up. Stop sucking your thumb. Come on, grow up. They'll tell you that. So it's better that it comes from me saying, grow up. Think for yourself and decide. I will not give you exact answers. You think which part of the story is added, which part is not added. Your decision.